previous presentator, Father Kamanzi. Actually, we are coming from the same route, from Belgium, not from Rome, like my master. I don't like to cite his name, he's sitting here in front of me, but we are coming from Belgium, from the same university, and we did the same studies, systematic theology. I wonder whether we used to meet. He left in 2002, and I left Belgium in 2005. But we underwent the same studies, almost with the same teachers, the same lecturers. He talked about the understanding, the theological understanding of corruption. I won't talk about theological understanding. I will talk about another topic, leadership and corruption. As you can see, is our civilization corrupt? The Irish poet, scholar Oscar Wilde has ever said, civilization is not by any means an easy thing to attain to. There are only two ways by which man can reach it. One is by being cultivated, and the other by being corrupt. Only two ways of attaining civilization, by being educated or by being corrupt. On the list of the most corrupt countries in the world, African countries hold the leading position. Investigation of last February. We have, the first one is Sierra Leone, second Liberia, the fourth Kenya, the fifth Cameroon, the sixth Libya, the seventh Mozambique, the eighth Zimbabwe, the ninth Uganda, the 11th Senegal, the 12th Tanzania, and the 18th DRC. The question is our civilization a civilization of corrupt people? If we are corrupt, all of us, that means our leaders are more corrupt than us. Once President Teddy Roosevelt, the 26th president of the States, said, a man who has never gone to school may steal a freight car, but if he has a university degree, he may steal the whole railroad. If a man who didn't go to school can steal an egg, be sure that the one who has a degree, a university degree, can steal the whole farm. That means the more educated you are, the more intelligent you become to ruin the whole institution. This occurs not with the loss of thousands, but loss of millions, of billions. Let us recall the types of corruption as presented by Mr. Malubi, our actual acting bursar. As we know, he divided corruption into three types. The first one, petty corruption, that is actually at the low scale, and we have the second one, grand corruption. Is defined as corruption which can occur at the highest levels in a way that requires significant subversion of the political, legal, and economic systems. And we have the last one, systematic corruption. Systematic corruption is corruption which is primarily due to the weaknesses of an organization or process. It can be contrasted with individual officials or agents who act corruptly within the system. A systematic corruption may be either petty or grand. In our today's paper, I would like to deal with the last one, means with the systematic corruption. All of us, we are now aware, though corruption is difficult to define precisely and harder still to quantify, it is not easy. And we know, undoubtedly, one of the most widespread forms of criminal victimization in today's world. What I can say, not only that corruption is bad, corruption is very bad, corruption is vice. Corruption is a crime. Not only that is a crime, but a very bad crime. Big institutions such universities, banks are being threatened by this virus of systematic corruption. There are big potatoes who organize the deal at a high level, and there are ordinary people who are acting and operating underground. Systematic corruption always calls for organizational corruption, which is actually the illicit use of one's position of power for perceived personal or collective gain. Organizational corruption, it is a network. Whenever we are talking about systematic corruption, let us bear in mind that it is a network which is operating. Now we have the challenges, difficulty in evidencing corruption. Still, let us refer to Mr. Malubi, what he told us. Corruption takes place in the form of bribery, kickbacks, commissions, or other benefits without leaving any trace of the official records. Since there is no documentary evidences which are left behind, it shows that systematic corruption is the task of very talented and clever people. To operate in such a network, you should be really very talented. Most of the corruption, said Mr. Malubi, takes place in a very informal manner and under the dark cover of isolated contacts. At times, it does not even require a spoken word. Mere eye contact can establish a relationship of corruption. The way someone just is looking. Once he gets into your office, you understand that something it is underground. He is expecting something from you, a favor from you. As such, dear friends, it is difficult for the investigator to obtain irrefutable evidence of corruption. The lack of evidence makes any investigation, if not impossible, but very difficult and delicate. I have never seen any accused corrupt person who will accept easily that he has done that. This lack of evidence makes any investigation impossible. Any accused corrupt person will always refute the accusations. We have the example of escrow in our country. You will never see someone who is being accused accepting that I have done it because of lack of evidence. The investigations, procedures, do take months, even years, in order to establish the responsibilities of the accused. If we have lawyers here in the room, I think they will hardly contradict me. In case of economic organized corruption, the accused can be put to jail until the investigation is performed. Are there lawyers here? If I'm saying a lie, they have just to stand up and contradict me. But that is the situation, because investigation do take time. In an institution like ours here in Jordan University, it occurs in the entire chain of procurement supply, from tendering to delivery through invoicing. Tenders are being negotiated beforehand. Tenders are being given to family friends, providing some cash. The price of item being always inflated. That is the way, because it is a network. So from delivering, from invoicing to delivering, in between, there are many things which happen. So, my dear friends, you can understand that systematic corruption, being a network, is very well organized and makes corruption to be very complex to be combated. In such a situation and of organizational corruption, corruption becomes the mode of life and management of the institution. Everyone steals, and everyone knows it, that we are stealing, but no one dares to open up his mind, his mouth. But what to do? That is the question. That is the way we are living here. What do you want to say? That is our style life. That is our style life. You are allowed to see, but not allowed to speak out. Otherwise, you will be just kicked out. The only justification of such behavior is referring to the Greek sophists, philosophers and theologians. They are acquainted with him, Thrasymachus. Thrasymachus, who stated that, I paraphrase, justice, and now I am using corruption. Corruption, if it is on a large scale, is stronger, is freer, and more merciful than injustice. When injustice becomes the norm of life, for Thrasymachus, that is justice. When corruption, that is the style of life of any institution, is good, because everyone is doing that. And those who are doing this, they rely on Thrasymachus to say justice, injustice is good. Corruption on the large scale is justice or right for Thrasymachus. Let us recall again the saying of Teddy Roosevelt, what I said at the very beginning. A man who has never gone to school may steal an egg and a chicken, but if he has got a university degree, he may steal the whole farm and nobody will know it. To steal an egg and to steal a chicken, you can do it alone, isn't it? You can do it alone, but not stealing the whole farm. You need the group work. The group work is needed. A teamwork is needed. A network is required in order to organize successfully the dirty game of corruption. This statement, dear friends, of Teddy Roosevelt brings another well-known saying of the English historian scholar John Emery Edward Halberg Acton, who said, "Power tends to corrupt, power corrupts, and absolute power, what does it do? Corrupts. Absolute power corrupts, yes, but absolute power corrupts absolute." The question, my dear friends, which often comes into my mind is, does power corrupt? Does power corrupt? The audience, does power corrupt? And why and how does power corrupt the people, and especially leaders like me, like my master who is here in front of me? How can power corrupt us? What does power mean? What does power mean? In order to understand well what does it mean, power, let us go to the etymology of the word government. Government is actually has a French origin, gouvernement, and in Latin, government is gubernatio, and gubernatio means management. Gubernatio means government, management. So, whenever I talk about government, there are two components. We have the first one is the root, the Greek word, gubernao, and gubernao is I steer, I drive, I guide, I pilot. So whenever you are driving a car, that is the government. You are guiding, you are giving direction to the car. And Dr. Miaggio, last time, he talked about the pilot and the ship. And Mende is ablative singular of mens. And what does it mean? It is mine. What do I drive? Not a car, I drive the mind. So it is easy now, you are so attentive to listen to me. I can easily drive your mind, so because you are listening to me. So that is it. To drive the mind, to guide the mind, to pilot the mind. You know, it's not as easy as we think when we are talking about the government. But the government, that makes our whole life. That someone is guiding us, someone is driving us. If he is rough, a rough driver, what happens to a rough driver? So you know the consequences. Power has advantages and disadvantages for leaders. All the leaders who are here, and you are studying in order to become leaders, isn't it? One, on the positive side, power makes leaders more assertive and confident. To be a leader positive is that you feel confident, that you have people under you, isn't it? You have people under you. As a teacher, I have people under me, my students, so I feel confident. And certain of the decision, this enables them to move forward on chosen courses of action. Leaders must use power to get the job done. So if I have given you an assignment, so I have power. I'm telling you that after 2 weeks you have to submit it, and before 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, if you have not yet submitted your work, you are in trouble. On the negative side, the more people possess power, the more they focus on their own egocentric desires, and the less able they are to see other perspectives. So whenever you have power, you become blind. You become blind. Power, starting point, and that is the arrival point. You don't see anything else. And there are individual differences. Some people are simple, power hungry, and prone to use their power to subjugate others. They are leaders from hell. You are dreaming of power. When you are eating, thinking of power. When you are writing, thinking of power. When you are sleeping, thinking, dreaming of power. Whatever you do is always live there and you want to take over. For them, actually, power doesn't corrupt, but the fear to lose power corrupts them. Because you want power, so the fear to lose it makes you to be corrupt. Why and how does power corrupt leaders? Like the one who is talking to you. Why and how does power corrupt leaders? I mean, that is the very fundamental question. The answer is not easy. It is not easy at all to give you why am I corrupt. It's not easy. Leadership at its core is all about power and influence. Leaders use their power to get things done. A simple distinction is just sociological difference I want to give about power. I want to give a socialized power and a personalized power. A socialized power is power used to benefit others. And we hope that our leaders here in our institution, in this noble university, have this sort of power in mind and are primarily concerned with the best interest of our university. That's socialized power. I have power for the betterment of our institution, not for my own, but for the others. I am there because of you. If you are not there, I won't have to exercise power. And another thing is that, can you imagine if the teacher is corrupt? So the whole world will be corrupt. That is easy. Because all of you, suppose that you are passing through my hands and I am corrupt, what do you expect from me? Yeah, I cannot give what I don't have. I will give you what I have and what I am, isn't it? I am told, am I going to give you my... No, you know, that is it. And the second is personalized power. And it is using power for personal gain. I am here, that is my word. I am an isolated island, atom. No one can come to disturb me. That is my word. Why? What do you want to do with me? What do you want to tell me? A leader can use his or her power to benefit others, but can also gain personally. Means, I am there for you, but meanwhile, I know how to get profit from my so-called socialized power. A leader can use, the obvious problem is when personalized power dominates and the leader gains, often at the followers' expenses. Always, I am the one. If I am working in an accountant's, for instance, office, whenever someone comes to ask for money, there is no money. But if it is for me, I found out the way to use that money. It means that I cannot give you, but I know how to get allowances for myself. Yet, leaders can delude themselves that they are working for the greater good, using socialized power, but engage in behavior that is morally wrong. A sense of power can cause a leader to engage in what leadership ethicist Terry Price called exception making. What is it? What does it mean, exception making? Exception making is a sort of management where you think that believing that the rules that govern what is right and what is wrong doesn't apply to the powerful leader. The principle that we have here in Juko, by the only fact that I am a leader, they don't apply to me. They do apply to those who are under me. That is what we call exception making. That is the power. For other people, this would be wrong to do that. But because I am the best, I have the best interest of my followers at heart, it is okay for me to do what I please. There is no good, no bad for others, well, but for me, because I am on power, everything is good. There are leaders who always think that they are above laws, and laws do not apply to them. They have forgotten about this Latin golden principle. Lawyers, if they are here, even philosophers, you know you have a bit knowledge of Latin, 4 semesters of Latin. Dura lex, sed lex. What does it mean? The law is harsh, but it is. The law is harsh, but it is the law for all. The law is hard, but it is the law for all. I cannot say that the law is hard, harsh for you, but for me, it is smooth. No. Before the law says the lawyers, we are all equal. Though there are more people who are more equal than the others. It is the power dominated by one thought, or one person who has all the power of the institution, or the sector under him or her. Always you will hear, do not touch me. That is my area of responsibility. Do not touch me. Go away. Be busy with your own sector, not with mine. And those who are exercising such a power, they are so sensitive to controlling. When they hear controlling for them is violation of their own space. Why control? Have you heard, is there anything wrong here? As if controlling is always linked to bad things. No. Controlling makes you to be confident. They have come to control and they didn't see anything. Now I want to improve, to go forward. That is it. But those who exercise such power, they mostly bear what we call in philosophy autocratic attributes. For instance, autocracy and despotism. Those are types of management facilitating corruption. I want to list some of them. Autocracy and despotism. First of all, I want just to talk about cracy. What does it mean? Power. We have the word, the suffix. We have arch. For instance, when we say archbishop. Archbishop means someone who is higher. To be bishop, you are here. Archbishop is higher in rulership, which means higher in a hierarchy. The Greek word kratos means power, which means right to lead. So whenever you say kratos, autocracy, I have power. Autos, it is myself, relating to myself. So we have those type of, which can facilitate corruption. We have autocracy. Autocracy, what does it mean? It is the rule by one individual, whose decisions are subject to neither external legal restraint nor regular mechanisms of popular control. I am the boss, I am God, I am above, no one can touch me. And we do say, in such a system of management, an autocrat needs servants. You need people who are working for you. You are just sitting in your office. But those who are operating, they are on the field. They know each and everything. And you will see that I am in my office. So, as if when they will accuse me of corruption, he is always in his office. So it will be, you will hardly accept that the person has been accused of corruption, because there are people who are working underground and they do praise each other. You find that they praise each other. Autocracy, I am the power. I have the power and I am also the power. Autocracy. So I can manage the institution as I wish. We have the second type of management, despotism. This is a rule by a single entity with absolute power. When you enter in such a system of despotism, you will hear people, they praise each other. Always. Those who are down, they are praising the boss. And the boss is praising also those who are down. There is so a kind of flux and reflux. It means that they do understand each other. That is horrible. Horrible. And in such a system, you will hear an individual, a person who is able to lend money to the institution. We don't have money, but it might say that I have my own money. Can I give that to you? And you will return it with interest. But when you ask, where did you get that money? That is a question. And we have another system that is oligarchy. Oligarchy is a kind of small group of people. They are leading, they are ruling. Actually, a despotism is bringing what we call oligarchy. The leading principle here in oligarchy is no longer based on performance and meritocracy, rather on blood relationship. We, as Swahili people, we used to say, damu nzito kuliko maji. That is easy, and that is our word. No one else can get into that system. We are so enclosed in ourselves. If there is any foreigner coming, not easy. You may even die. Mind you, in well-organized organizational corruption, people are very sensitive to the management control, though they do not fear it at all. Can you imagine? They fear the control, but meanwhile, actually they know that if controlling will come, they will win, because at all stages is blood relationship which is there. What are you going to lose? The blood is present in all the stages of the organization. Although a control can take place, you will not expect ground result only by the fact that there is no objective criteria of assessment, rather blood relationship taking over. Whoever new member is employed in such a system, the clan will make sure that you don't move. You are new, they must know what are your origins, where are you coming from. They have to make sure that you should be one of them. Otherwise, you will know what will happen to you. Oligarchy leads to another type of management we call nepotocracy. Nepotocracy. What is that? It is a government which is the rule, the principle is ruling with nephews. It means that favoritism, that is the golden rule of that system. When you get in, all are blood relatives, baba mkubwa, mjomba, binamu, shangazi. You are sending someone to his boss, but he's not going to the one as the leader, he's going as to mjomba. You are sending someone to a leader who is a lady, but he's going to see shangazi. And can you imagine what kind of relationship is between I and my shangazi? Utani mtu. We have another form of management which can lead to corruption. Kleptocracy. Kleptocracy, if someone will say that you are kleptonov, it means that never a word of truth can come from your mouth. You are a thief. Always saying the truth, the lie. You feel comfortable when you say a lie. And that is a kind also of management. So people, kleptocracy. Thieves, a system of management where people always lie. When you send someone, go and buy, for instance, a pen, which is actually, I don't know, 100. Be sure that when you will come, you will bring it, it's 300. Never ready to listen to others. Those, kind of leaders, they seem to take defense of the institution. You will see as if the person likes very much the institution. But that is just a liar. Because he knows that he's making big result, big profit of the institution. And we have another form of management, kakistocracy. Kakistocracy. Maybe now I have to ask my master to see whether he still remember his Greek or he has already forgotten. Kakistocracy is the rule by the stupid. Kakistocracy. So stupid are the ones who are reading. Not that they hold the high position. No, they are underground, but since the leader is corrupt, when they come to him, they are the one reading, because they know they are the one who are giving chai, they are the one who are giving bahasha, they are the one who give to kidogo, they are what? That is it. Kakistocracy. So, in order to understand all this type of management, which can facilitate easy the way to corruption, let us go back to the sophist one, Thrasymachus, to understand what does it mean? Why people are acting like that? Thrasymachus, you know, is a sophist. And if you want to understand him, you have to read the book Respublica of Plato. And is portrayed as a disciple of injustice. For him, actually saying, might is right. Might is right. And we have it. The power, the party, the political party which is in power, on power, has, all the latitude, the parameters to change the law. Might is right. And he's saying, the one who is doing injustice is clever than the one who is doing justice. Because in order to do injustice, you must be very clever, isn't it? And that is why he's saying, even corruption. So he's praising corruption. And those who are doing corruption, they are also praising. They are acting like Thrasymachus. And Thrasymachus is saying, what is actually good, consider the unjust person as positively superior, because he is intelligent, he can manipulate the audience. Justice, he said, is pursued by simple thoughts and lead to weaknesses. Why do you want to be just? Why? Laws, he said, are made by the ruling party for its own interest. We have CCM, they have their own laws, and whenever Chadema will come up, they will look for their own laws. It means might is right. And when might is right, right becomes also might. So, what to do? He's saying injustice is nothing but the advantage of the stronger. Justice is obedience to laws. Justice is nothing but the advantage of another. Actually, when we look Thrasymachus with the eyes of ethics, what can we say? Justice is nothing. Justice is actually nothing. It is as if he's praising people to become injustice. Because once you are corrupt, you become more intelligent than others. And once he says that, even Socrates actually was moral or immoral. He was accused of corrupting the youth. And he might say, maybe, let us look at the person. By the fact that he knows how to manipulate the youth, that is a good person. But that is not what we want to say here. For Thrasymachus, justice is not a virtue. Injustice is a virtue. For Thrasymachus, corruption is a virtue. By the only fact you know how to manipulate people. Now, my dear friends, I have talked too much. What is now the proper management? What is the proper management? Leadership requires management skills. Those who are studying business administration, they know. So whenever you are talking about management, you have actually 4 steps. You have the first one is planning. And in business administration we do say, failure to plan is planning to fail. That is it. Failure to plan is planning to fail. That is obvious. And you have the second step, organizing. To know how to organize the project, to know how to organize what you want to achieve. And we have the third one is leading. Leading, it is considered as a life spark. How to lead? You have the planning, you have the way how to organize it, and then the leading. How are you going to go? You are not the one to implement your plan. You are not the one to implement. There are others, the other people who will implement. So how to lead them? Supervision, motivation, leadership, and communication. And we have the last one in the 4 steps is controlling. Controlling is the process of checking whether or not the plan is being implemented. And that is very, very important. Control. To control, very important step in the planning, in the management. Many people, as I have said, they are very sensitive when it comes to control. They are happy when you give them the plan, the organization, and the leadership. But when it comes to the step of controlling, they become really very sensitive. Now, my dear friends, what to do in order to fight corruption? What to do in order to fight corruption? Friedrich Nietzsche once said, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process of fighting that monster, he might not become himself or herself a monster. In order to fight a monster, you should also have some skills of monster. To those I am teaching about demons, I do tell them, please, if I want to teach you properly about demons, I have to have the skills of demons. So allow me to visit you during night. So you will have the experience who are the demons. And Bob Marley, we know him, he sang and he said, if something can corrupt you, be sure that you are corrupted already. If something can corrupt you. And there is another Nigerian scholar, Nuhu Ribadu, who says, when you fight corruption, be sure that corruption is fighting you back. It is true. Whenever you are somewhere and you are fighting and speaking out as I am doing, people who are not happy will be looking for your weaknesses everywhere to say he's speaking out. He does not know about himself, what he's doing, so and so. And that is because of what they want you also to join them. They want you to shut up. And I continue. Father Kimazi has just talked about cynicism. And philosophers do say, cynics regarded everybody as equally corrupt. Those are cynics. If I am a cynic, all of us here, we are corrupt. We are corrupt. But idealists regarded everybody as equally corrupt except themselves. That is idealist. You are corrupted, not I, not me. That is the way of doing. But then what to do? There are other philosophers who are used to say, all of us we are corrupt, but the difference is the amount of corruption, the quantity, we differ in the amount. Nevertheless, dear friends, when men are pure, laws are useless. But when men are corrupt, laws are broken. What to do then? According to me, the only way to combat organizational corruption is the management control system. That is the only way of combating, fighting against corruption. Wherever, and Kamazi spoke justly of the domestic family, even in the family, we remember that our own parents, they used to control us, isn't it? When you come back to school, they want to make sure that you attend the class. Where are your exercise books? A father was never controlled is a child, what kind of father is. And we remember all of us, the good teachers, the good educators, they are the ones who know how to control us. Management control system is very, very important. Formal control and informal control. That everyone is subjected to control. Whether you are the high position, whether you are formal control, you are subjected to the control. Management control system should be strong. And here we may talk about input control, behavior control, and output control. So, dear friends, what should be now my conclusion? I hope that even in our institution, we have to strive for this, to find out a proper way of management control system, that nobody can feel that is above the law. The law is for everyone. Whenever you get into the office, you know that you are subjected to the control. And never say that, why did you come here? No. By the fact you are employed, you should bear in mind that someone is above you. And that person can come at any time to control you, to see whether the contract that you have signed, you are fulfilling it correctly. So, what is my conclusion? Corruption is very dangerous. Corruption is very bad. Even when we talk about this, we should be even ashamed of talking about this. When you go around now, you don't see. Everywhere, when you see a small path, no corruption all over. As if there was some element here around. I mean, the smell of corruption. So we should be aware of it. It is bad, and we have all of us not to fight with words. We have to do it by our deeds, that it is bad, and we have to say it out. But my dear friends, at the end of my presentation, I am scared of doing what I was not supposed to do. What is that? To corrupt you by my language. So I am scared of doing what I was not supposed to corrupt you by my language, because I see all of you looking at me. But as you know, if thought corrupts language, language can corrupt also thought. Therefore, I do repeat another saying of Nietzsche. Nietzsche says, the surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. So, I will corrupt you, all of you, if you want to think like me. But in order to avoid to be corrupted, try to think differently by challenging what I have presented to you. How are you going to challenge it? Not to be corrupt. That's all. That is the only challenge. to translate into deeds, not into words. That is the good challenge. Last but not least, the starting statement of power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely could be now changed into the way another essayist, scholar, George Bernard Shaw pointed out. Power doesn't corrupt men, but fools, however, if they get into a position of power, they corrupt power, and then they corrupt the whole institution. Thank you.